But they have the same TABC rules where you're not supposed to bring alcohol onto the course, so.
But I'm not asking for an alcohol license to sell.
True.
I'm only asking to monitor it and.
Yes.
Under the rules and regulations, D, where it talks about reservation must pay an off-duty peace officer to be present during the time the alcohol is being consumed. I would like that requirement of that is that off-duty officer be approved by our chief of police. What we don't want to have is someone that's got a friend, you know, that's not going to feel like they can control their friend's party. You know, the off-duty police officer needs to be a, you know, fair and not bipartisan, but someone that, you know, can in fact control whatever the crowd might be doing. And I'd leave it to our chief of police to determine whether or not that whoever they're wanting to hire would be acceptable.
So you're wanting to approve the off-duty police officer to be approved by our city police chief,
That's correct.
so that we don't have names in there, but generic.
I have no problem with that. I mean, in Crowley, the city of Crowley's police force was the first options. You had to go through one of their police officers who was in charge of this program, and they would assign one. However, I don't think Buck has time to do as many of these as we probably will have.
Oh, what are we paying an hour?
He might be available.
The salary.
Typical rates
Give my shift
$35 an hour.
change, Stephen.
And Kelly, you also, I don't know if we talked about the Oakdale, the pavilion. This would not include the pavilion, or it would?
No, I don't believe the pavilion would be included. There is most people don't just rent the pavilion, they rent the outdoor kitchen
Yeah.
with it. So the outdoor it would have to be a building that is,
I didn't see it differentiated in the wording that they talked about facilities. But that wouldn't be part of it, the pavilion.
well, that's something else we could add on there, that the outdoor pavilion is not included in the alcohol.
We could just add that the convention center and the hangout are the only two.
Convention center, hangout, and outdoor kitchen.
The outdoor kitchen though is.
But it's enclosed.
Oh, it's that little white.
It's that little white building next to the
Okay.
pavilion.
So just strike the outdoor.
That's where the special events happen. So just exclude outdoor pavilion.
Well, but if we exclude it from facilities available,
Well, you would just exclude that under rules and regulations D.
under D,
Or consumption of alcohol. And probably E. Because like I said, this policy, rules and regulations is not just for alcohol. This is for them to know how to handle when they rent one of these facilities, what the rules and regulations are for those. Because it also discusses no smoking inside the buildings. You know, if you're having a group of minors, chaperones and sponsors must be in attendance at all times. You know, so it's just those two, D and E, that actually deal with the alcohol portion of it.
And I think that's a very important part of it.
Yes, it is.
So that's why.
And that's why I bolded those numbers there
Yes, ma'am.
on D and E.
And I still go on the record saying I'm opposed to it. I think it's the wrong way to be going with Oakdale. It's not worth the money. We may not have any liability, but there can be consequences down the road for somebody. And I know I've got that experience in my own family, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. And just look at the recent events here in our own town, our own city. I guess I would at this time be looking for entertain some motion on item number 10, discuss and consider approval of a rental policy for Oakdale Park.
okay. Go ahead.
I'll try it.
I have a motion from Councilman Martin to approve a rental policy for Oakdale Park with the stipulated changes. Do I need to do that?
What I would recommend, because there are several changes that you've made, is that it be represented to council as once it's amended, represented for approval. That way that we can make sure that everything is exactly the way it should be.
Next month? Or when? What are you
Is
talking
that
about?
that's,
You want me to postpone it till next month's meeting?
well,
need
we're
to
not
do it now for
postponing
reading.
it, we're
Approving
approving it,
it with
and we
amendments to
present it for
be.
final approval at the next meeting. Is
Okay,
that
okay,
right, David?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
okay.
So explain to Johnny how to go ahead and make this motion.
Yes.
So I have a motion to approve a rental policy for Oakdale Park, contingent on approving
To
modifications.
approve the policy with amendments to be presented at the next
Okay.
meeting for.
To approve the
final
policy with changes to be made at next month's meeting.
That sounds good, and I'll make it.
I have a motion from Councilman Martin. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Councilman Glen. All in favor? Let the record show that's 3-0 in favor of item number 10, approval of a rental policy for Oakdale Park.